down the line, and I'll start with you, Jonte, we'll work our way back here. But there are so many, even in this first episode, so many pop culture references that are so funny in the show. Is there one that sticks out as like your favorite, and we can go through everyone and see if you have one specific one that you remember?
On the spot. My favorite.
Sorry.
Or we can start.
Yeah.
Do you have one, Brad?
I'll go really easy. I'll go with Ferris Bueller. Well, but like on day one when we started shooting, we were shooting Colin in the condo, and the first shot of the show was when he drops back on the bed. Like the famous Ferris Bueller dropping back on the bed. And I was just like, I'm so happy right now. This is how John Hughes felt. Oh my God, this is amazing. But it was born with that kind of spirit. Even though that device was actually from the graphic novel, we knew we were taking that kind of fun 80s vibe, with it. So for me, personally, day one, shot one, with Colin, dropping back on the bed, I was like, yes, I've made it. Making something cool.
That's a wrap. Does anyone else have one?
What Brad said.
Yeah.
I really like American Ninja Idol.
Yes.
That's really my favorite because it sort of was born out of the fact that, well, if kids didn't have TV anymore because the bombs fell and there are no adults, they'd have to create their own show, and things have gone a little batshit on bath salts, back to the bath salts, and this is what they would create. They would create a singing show, because we all love The Voice or American Idol, only there's stakes, more than a record contract.
Your life.
I definitely have one. Mine is, I love Wesley's, I love Wesley. He's my favorite. You're all my favorite. But Wesley in this episode gives a speech about why swords are better than guns. And he's able to reference Gymkata.
Jim Cotta's the best.
And Gymkata.
Remember Gymkata?
Any Gymkata fans?
Big Jim Cotta fan.
We have so many references in here. Gymkata is just touching it of just how deep our references go, and how, this was a playground for us to make the most geeky, nerdiest references that we could. And Gymkata is just the beginning of that.
When the U.S. Olympic team was really popular, they decided to combine U.S. Olympics and Kung Fu in a movie. Hollywood thought that was amazing. And it was called Gymkata. G-Y-M, kata.
Yeah, it's when you combine gymnastics and karate.
Right.
I mean, why not?
There's a whole pommel horse sequence that you could think,
It's the best sequence.
Such a good movie.
It's when he's in the
how
village.
could you turn pommel horses into a deadly art?
I can tell you how. In Jim Cotta, they show you.
With Bar Connor.
I feel like this is a perfect Netflix opportunity for like the autoplay. After people binge all of Daybreak, it goes right into Gymkata. Yeah.
Gymkata now available on Netflix.
I want some of those residuals for sure. But before we go, there's, like in terms of Easter eggs and things, there's one that I'm such a big fan of, and I want to point out. Wesley's pink and black shirt, you see, it kind of had like in the post, he had like kind of like a Japanese style thing. It's a Japanese shirt that Michael handmade, and it actually says Daybreak in Japanese over and over and over again. So like we're super nerds. Like there's millions of layers of our own shit and references all throughout this thing.
I did want to ask, and this is for anyone who wants to take it, something that's brought up in a later episode, but again, not a spoiler, is that ghoulies are not zombies. Who wants to tackle, how are ghoulies different than zombies? I feel like it's an important distinction.
Yeah. Ghoulies are definitely not zombies. They are just over 18 mostly, and there's one more thing that I'm not gonna say.
Let's just say that Josh figures out that the hard way.
Yeah,
They're made that way by radiation and not disease, and that's like distinguisher. I think like they're basically radiated adults, and they can't speak. While zombies are kind of like these mindless.
But only one line. They say the last thing
only the last thing that they thought. But
and you get to kind of see how like stupid things that what
do they say? What are
that
some of the
adult
stupid things?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, my favorite.
Jacket so.
Okay, ready?
Is it LaCroix?
Or LaCroix.
Oh yeah. That's my favorite one.
If it's dark out, I don't have to pick up the dog poop.
I have to stay under my mileage to afford the lease.
Why is Hollywood always adapting graphic novels into TV shows?
Well, adults would think of this beautiful post-apocalyptic world that kids have created with no adult supervision?
Well, part of the story of it is that the kids take over, and it pretty quickly devolves into the same problems that adults have. I mean, that's one story, as I remember. The same troubles that happen when you start to form a government or some kind of a way of they have to rebuild society, and they start to make the same mistakes that their parents made, which has been happening for a long time now. It seems like it's about to be better, but it isn't really.
Matthew actually brings up a great point. Aaron, you should speak to that.
What did you just say?
You brought up a great point.
Bring up a very, very strong point.
Thank you, thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Welcome. But it's building off of that, and what we really took to this is this is a generation, and this is a generation that we feel really optimistic about. That when we got the green light to do the show, it was actually just a couple weeks after Parkland. And we looked at Emma Gonzalez, and we looked at David Hogg, and we looked at these kids, and we said, these are inspirational figures. They are gonna be okay. They are standing up and they're saying, what's going on right now is not okay. And we wanted our kids in this apocalypse to be facing the toughest circumstances imaginable. And yet, they face it with optimism, they face it with vigor, and they're gonna try to live their best lives, but they're gonna try to make the world over again, and they're gonna try to do it better than we did it.
I love that. So, we have talked a lot about how this is based on a graphic novel, but you have the benefit of adaptation and different perspectives and all that. What were the key things you wanted to bring from the page to the screen, and what did you feel like you had the freedom to kind of remix and make your own?
I mean, the stuff from the book is really the point of view, and I think the optimistic tone. The fact that Josh was like, holy shit, the apocalypse is awesome. Which we related to because we all fucking hated high school, right? Like, we all sucked in high school, so we were like, this is true, this is great. I get to redo myself and drive a Ferrari and get a fucking samurai sword, this is awesome. So that was sort of like the main stuff from the graphic novel. There was a lot of stuff we invented. Which is where I'm going to look to the writer.
Well, big shout out also to Barry Chesed, who is in the audience, our production designer. Barry.
Yes, Barry.
Everybody can see the hat I'm wearing. The detail, like down to this tag, which is all over Glendale in the pilot. It's the Jock logo, but it's a dumbbell instead of eyes with the smiley face. That level of detail Barry brought to this production, and that's the type of thing that raised this to what it is. I mean, that's what I love about it so much.
Completely. This is what we took from Brian Ralph's book was, here was a character who was looking at the apocalypse saying, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. And you just don't see that in your post-apocalyptic dystopian genres. It's really bleak. And yet all these kids are sitting there going like, this is amazing. Which is how we all felt in high school was, man, it would be awesome if the world would end because I would reinvent myself. I would be somebody else. I'd be anybody else. So they're doing it in such a fantastic fashion. And it was that ability to have this like carte blanche of world building of what would they do? You would go out and you get the best kicks. You would go out and you would get outfits. You would reinvent yourself. You would have the cheer mazons. And the cheer mazon outfits, Michael Brown has done with the cheer mazon outfits, is incredible.
Oh, there's going to be cheer mazons, by the way.
You'll be able to watch it again when the trailer drops Monday. You get like a brief glimpse of them.
There's some brief glimpses of them. They're amazing. But they are both armor and wish fulfillment at the same time. And being able to collide those two things together really brought the world to life.
Okay, I have a logistical question. This is a question I have after watching 5 episodes, so hopefully it's not a spoiler. But within the world of the show, we know at around age 18, like that's the cutoff for people becoming ghoulies. What happens if you're a teen and you turn 18 in this irradiated world? Like, do you become a ghoulie?
You find out. It's something you will find out later in the show. There is an answer, I promise.
And it's
You mean
not
patience? I have to wait?
Be patient, and it's not what you expect.
I also am curious, we've talked a lot about kind of the genre subversion stuff. But what is the room for improv within this too? Like all the dialogue is so hyper specific, but I'm even thinking of like, some of the things that are the adults' last thoughts. And like, is there room for riffing and kind of evolving?
No.
Absolutely.
Colin was like,
We learned that the hard way.
Sorry.
I send all the other directors my shot lists. They must shoot what I know.
Yes,
the
there's
best
a lot
part
of
of this.
It's the best part of this. I have to say, this cast is incredible. They are the most amazing cast.
They really made these characters their own.
They-
And we let them go. And
We
we
let
had
them
much
go.
of a choice.
It was, you write something and you hope that you find an actor that is able to embody it. And all of these actors walked in on the very first day of their audition, and they were the characters. They nailed it. We didn't have anybody. There was no other choices. It was them. And the dedication that they brought to it on set, and not only the dedication, but like they elevated it. So it became so easy to write for the characters. It became so easy to know what they were going to say because
We couldn't write the shit like fucking Austin does. Like pop locking whatever that was. Oh yeah,
The wall.
hit the wall in there.
How can we write that?
That's what I'm curious about for the cast. Like, what were some cool moments that kind of came out as you were in the scenes and making the episodes?
Well, I think it's funny because Aaron would come up to me and I'm like, okay, can I put fuck here? And he's like, oh, maybe not. He was like, you say too many curse words in one sentence. I was like, okay, I'll dial it back. That was my improv.
Did anyone else have any like really? I mean,
It wasn't that crazy, but like there was one part when we went up to Dick's Sporting Goods, like at the like back of it, and I was just supposed to be like, can't get inside, dead end. I guess we're gonna have to find another way. And then Aaron kind of pulled me to the side. I was like, what can we say here? Next take, dang, need some change. He can't get in.
They could make a dictionary of just Austin language, because none of us understand what he's talking
That's
about.
that ATL lingo.
This is true.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
I do have to say the hardest thing to do is to fly in a line for Olivia for Angelica, because she's supposed to swear like a sailor, and I'm fucking foul and I have this twisted mind. But then I'm walking up to her and saying, "Hey, can you say this looks like Tom Sizemore's dick?" And she'll go, "Yeah." What does it mean? But yeah.
well, I love that she's such a little demon too. Like she's just like so devious, so wonderful. And Greg, I feel bad because like people haven't had a chance to see more of Eli, but he has so much of that too.
And that's all Greg.
You have to understand, Greg would hang around Video Village. It was freezing out, and all of a sudden, the sun came out. He takes off his jacket, and he's like, "Yeah, sun's out, guns out."
Episode 6.
We're like, that's going in.
I text Aaron shit Greg says to me to write in scripts. Like we're watching TV and he'll say some crazy shit and I'll be like, oh, hold on, can you say that again? And I'm texting Aaron, I'm like, Greg just said this. And all that goes in the show.
I cannot wait to see like the Eli episode, which I hope is coming later. Because he is like, even from other characters' perspectives, he is the star of his own movie for sure, and it's so funny to watch.
Thank you so much.
There's something special coming up that you will love.
Now, I do, obviously, again, it's hard because, like, just going from this first episode, and there were so many things watching it again that I picked up on having seen the first 5, like, it does become a completely different show by the midpoint, which means that I'm sure by the end, it's something completely different as well. What are some of the things, and we can start at either end, but I would let whoever wants to contribute, like, what are some of the things you want to make sure the audience in this room that has had the benefit of seeing the premiere episode have to look forward to and know that you guys are really excited about that they have to look forward to?
No spoilers, guys.
I just think that you never know what's going on with Daybreak, and as soon as you think you know the show, there's another twist and there's another turn. So keep watching to see them all, because...
And don't make bets, because I'll be wrong.
Oh no, yes, for sure.
There's really something for everyone throughout the whole series, and I think that there's people that there's characters to connect to, there's scenarios to connect to, and it's just a whole lot of fun.